Conor McGregor vs. Dany the Cheesecake Wallace, a clash of beginnings and bravado. On a crisp autumn evening, the date was September 17, 2010, and the air inside the Cage Warriors arena buzzed with electric anticipation. The event was Cage Warriors 47, and among the many fights scheduled, one in particular promised fireworks, a fight that would not only thrill the audience, but also set the tone for the journey of one of the sport's future legends. This was the night that an ambitious young Irishman named Conor McGregor squared off against the jovial, yet dangerous, Dany the Cheesecake Wallace. The fighters, two men, two stories. Conor McGregor, at just 22 years old, Conor McGregor was already making waves in the local MMA scene. Hailing from Crumlin, Dublin, McGregor was known for his brash personality, razor-sharp wit, and lethal striking ability. A former plumber's apprentice, McGregor had abandoned a stable but uninspiring life to chase his dreams inside the cage. Though young, he had an aura about him, a self-belief so palpable that even seasoned fighters found it unnerving. He wasn't just fighting for glory. He was fighting to rewrite his destiny. McGregor's fighting style was as flamboyant as his personality. A southpaw with precise counterpunching and devastating knockout power. He had a knack for reading his opponent's movements and exploiting even the slightest of openings. His pre-fight trash talk wasn't merely an attempt to get under his opponent's skin. It was part of his psychological warfare, an art he would later perfect on the grandest stages of the sport. But this was still early in his career. McGregor had yet to become the global phenomenon known simply as the Notorious. On this night, he was a hungry young prospect with everything to prove. Dany the Cheesecake Wallace. Across the cage stood Dany Wallace, a colorful character with an infectious grin and an equally infectious love for fighting. Wallace was nicknamed the Cheesecake, a moniker that belied his toughness inside the cage. While he might have had a jovial persona outside the ring, Wallace was a fierce competitor, known for his gritty determination and ability to absorb punishment. Wallace wasn't the type to back down from a fight. Though he lacked the refined striking prowess of McGregor, he made up for it with heart, resilience, and a penchant for surprising his opponents with unorthodox tactics. He was something of a cult favorite in the local MMA scene, a fighter who could always be counted on to deliver a spirited performance. In the lead-up to the fight, Wallace had been dismissive of McGregor's growing reputation. "He's just another cocky kid who thinks he's better than he is," Wallace said in an interview. "I've fought tougher guys. I'll take his best shot and keep moving forward." The build-up, words, pride, and pressure. As the fight approached, tensions ran high. McGregor, true to form, wasn't shy about expressing his confidence. "Dany Wallace. He'll be eating more than cheesecake after I'm done with him," McGregor quipped during the pre-fight press conference, eliciting laughter from the crowd. Wallace fired back. "We'll see who's laughing when he's gasping for air in the second round." The local media latched onto the banter, hyping the bout as a clash between the brash newcomer and the battle-hardened veteran. Fans debated endlessly about who would emerge victorious. While McGregor had the edge in striking, Wallace's toughness and grappling experience couldn't be discounted. It was a classic tale of youth versus experience, style versus grit. The fight, lightning strikes in round one. As the two fighters entered the cage, the atmosphere was electric. Fans cheered loudly, some chanting McGregor's name, others rooting for Wallace to humble the cocky upstart. From the opening bell, it was clear that McGregor had no intention of letting this fight go to the judges. He came out fast, bouncing on the balls of his feet, feinting and measuring Wallace's movements. Wallace, true to his word, marched forward, looking to close the distance and engage in a brawl. But McGregor was a step ahead. He caught Wallace with a crisp left hand that staggered him, followed by a flurry of punches that backed him into the cage. Wallace attempted to clinch, but McGregor shrugged him off and unleashed a devastating uppercut that sent Wallace to the canvas. Without hesitation, McGregor pounced, raining down hammer fists until the referee stepped in to stop the fight. The official result: McGregor won via TKO in round 1. The aftermath: rising star, fallen challenger. In the immediate aftermath of the fight, McGregor climbed the cage and roared triumphantly, basking in the adulation of the crowd. Wallace, though disappointed, showed sportsmanship, congratulating McGregor on his victory. The victory was a turning point for McGregor. It wasn't just another win, it was a statement. The local MMA scene took notice, and whispers began about McGregor's potential to become something special. Promoters saw dollar signs, fans saw a future star, and McGregor himself saw the beginning of a journey that would eventually lead him to global superstardom. Wallace, for his part, didn't fade into obscurity. He continued to fight, earning respect for his toughness and willingness to face anyone. While he never reached the heights that McGregor would go on to achieve, he remained a beloved figure in the regional MMA circuit. Controversies, trash talk, and respect. As with many of McGregor's fights, the build-up and aftermath were not without controversy. Some critics accused McGregor of being disrespectful in his trash talk, while others applauded his showmanship and ability to draw attention to his fights. Wallace himself, in a post-fight interview, said, "He talks a lot, but he backs it up." You got to respect that. McGregor, never one to shy away from the spotlight, responded, "Respect to Dany. He's a tough guy, but tonight was my night. I'm just getting started." Legacy: the fight that launched a legend. Looking back, the fight between Conor McGregor and Dany Wallace was more than just a clash between two men. It was a pivotal moment in the early career of a future legend. It showcased McGregor's potential, his flair for the dramatic, and his ability to capture the imagination of fans. For those who witnessed it live, it was a night to remember. The night a brash young Irishman took his first major step toward becoming one of the biggest stars in the history of combat sports. And as the crowd filed out of the arena that night, they couldn't help but feel they had just witnessed the birth of something special, a story they would tell for years to come.